too close, she walked away, caught by someone else's gaze. He missed his chance to speak his mind, and now he glares with jealous eyes. And it's easy to blame destiny for the things we believe are meant to be. How was he supposed to know that he'd found true love? And it's easy to blame destiny for the things we believe are meant to be. How are we supposed to know when we find true love? How are we supposed to know when we find
Go away from me, sucker.
You are now entering another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of critical thinking. A journey to a wondrous land with boundaries that of clarification. Your next stop, the Sanity Zone.
So you're a philosopher?
Yes. 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 Yes.
I think very deeply. I think very deeply. I think very deeply. I think very deeply.
In about 4 seconds, a teacher will begin to speak.
I think very deeply.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
What's up? What's up? What's up, New Haven? You're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, aka The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio. How's everybody doing out there? Hope you had a wonderful 4th of July weekend for those of us who actually got that, what is it, 4-day weekend? It's pretty good, right? Pretty good. Enjoyed the president celebrating the 4th of July with the nation, right? Got to see all of our cool military toys. He, and he spoke about the nation. Everybody was talking a lot of junk going into it, that he would make it about himself, that Trump would make it about himself and not make it about the nation. And if you saw all of the people who criticized him, they made it about themselves, right? They, especially the people running for president, right? They criticized Trump for celebrating the nation, and some of them made the nation sound horrible. Today, I saw, I think it was in the New York Times, where somebody did an op-ed where they said America's never been great. We're just okay. That's who the Democrats are. They're not proud of this great nation. They're not proud of our accomplishments. They're honestly not proud of our accomplishments. They prefer to focus and dwell on the worst of our history. And what was it? This birthday was what, 243? Was it 243 that we were, our nation celebrated on the 4th of July? Right? But they like to go back beyond those 243 years where we weren't even making our decisions. Our decisions were coming from the Brits, right? We were still under their umbrella. And they like to accuse us of being, they accuse, I hear it all the time, how a lot of white people especially, are colonizers, right? And you hear that over and over. But we actually broke that mold that the Brits tried to put us in, right? And we became the strongest, most compassionate, most giving nation on earth, right? We became that. Everybody wants to come here. They risk their lives to come here, right? And the Democrats want to continuously tell us how bad America is. How bad America is. America's the greatest nation. And the Democrats can't see it because they hate the President of the United States. They actually see their loss in 2016 as, the culmination of everything that's horrible with America, right? Donald Trump being made president shows how far we've gone to be evil in America. That's what the Democrats see. That's what the Democrats see. And we're the greatest nation on earth. You hear everybody complaining, especially the media, who says somehow Trump is limiting their freedom of press, when there's never been such freedom of press. They've actually taken off their filters. Now they say whatever's on their mind instead of what's fact. Now they write articles in an opinion format. And they put traces of information that could be true, may be true, but then they tilt it with their opinion. And they say they have no freedom. Come on. The press is disgusting. And it is. A majority of it is fake news. And the reason I say that is because when they sell opinion as fact, that's a tragedy. And I speak with liberals every day, progressives every day, communists every day, socialists every day. Or should I should have just said Democrats, right? I speak with all these progressive, I was gonna say loons, but that's not very nice. Even though, just imagine what they call me all the time, right? But I speak with them all the time, right? And this morning and throughout the day, I've spoken with different people. And what you hear now, look, the Democrats are worried right now. Biden is dropping like a rock. Kamala Harris, she's gone up, but she can't decide whether she's for Medicare for all or against Medicare for all, for getting rid of private insurance or against getting rid of private insurance. She can't figure out whether she is for the prison reform, or she's that prosecutor who put away all those people. But you know, the one thing she could figure out is that Joe's a racist. Joe Biden, that racist. Barack Hussein Obama put Joe Biden as his vice. That racist Joe Biden. Does that mean that Obama likes racists? Or is Kamala just making all this up? Does that mean that Obama's white side gravitated towards racism? I'm just playing. But no, so let's get my show started. Let me give you a couple of conversations I had today. Right, so incredibly, they didn't speak about Trump much, right? You know, I tried to get that. Oh, Obama, you know, Trump is at 47% now. You know, his highest in the Harris poll. Right, and that's a very liberal poll that always has him down, right? So very down. So and I always say this, when a liberal poll has him at 47, Trump is really at 53 to 55. You have to, their margin of error is more like 8 points, maybe more. Right, so when you start looking at that, when the liberal polls, because you have the Rasmussen poll, who called the election right, probably the only one who called it right in 2016, and they have him above 50. He's been above 50 for a while, right? But these liberal polls, they drag down his Real Clear Politics points, right? Because they keep him down. But this one has him at 47. I think he won with a 44% approval in 16. So I try to get that in, but no, the Democrats wanted to talk about Trump celebrating himself. Moronic, because it means that they didn't watch. They didn't listen. Oh, they picked out the few faux pas that the few errors he made that they focused on. That they didn't hear it, they read it, right? Because that's what the media does. Instead of celebrating the 4th of July with Trump, they picked at his speech. Right? So if he made a mistake, you heard about it. That's what the Democrats focused on. And they were like, oh, he celebrated himself. Did you hear the speech? He spoke about the history of this nation and what we've overcome. Oh, he was celebrating himself. No. And this is why I can't take a lot of these people serious. They speak about things that they know not about because they don't take the time to read. They more likely than not, they're giving me somebody else's opinion that they heard on Morning Joe in the morning, or you know, AM Joy on the weekend. That's where that's where most of these liberals get their information from. And it's low quality information. Sure, they're elitists, they went to this school, they went to that school, but they're lying to you because they think you're a dummy. So, after we got over the Trump celebrated himself, you know, after I proved my points, and Trump's poll numbers are up, which they disregarded, then we got into Nancy Pelosi and her problems with the 4 freshman congresswomen, right? And they were like, we are in trouble. There's infighting in the party. The 4 freshman congresswomen are really taking it to Nancy Pelosi. And, I saw it very simple, right? I saw it very simple. So what do you mean the congresswomen are taking it to Nancy Pelosi? And they said 4, right? I always only think of Omar, Ocasio, and Tlaib. Right? I never I don't know who the 4th one is. But, so, they're worried about it, right? And I'm like, well, it's obvious the reason Nancy Pelosi is having problems with these freshman congressmen. I hear that on the news. They call them congressmen, even though they're congresswomen. I don't know why. I don't know. Anyway, but congresswoman, it's obvious. It's because Nancy Pelosi's racist. Have people not seen the color of Omar, Ocasio-Cortez, and Tlaib? It's obvious. If Nancy Pelosi has a problem with these young, beautiful women of color, it's obvious it's because she's racist, like Joe Biden. What's wrong with the Democrats? That they have these old white people leading them. Who voted for Nancy Pelosi? It must be the Democrats, the Congress people, the congressmen, congresswomen in the House of Representatives. They're racist. They put in an old white lady. But obviously, who's more in touch with America than Ocasio-Cortez? Who is more in touch with America than Ilhan Omar? Or, I forgot the other lady's first name, Tlaib. Come on, what's wrong with you people? And I was telling them, my Democrat friend who I was having this conversation with, it is obvious that Nancy Pelosi is a racist. And why you guys haven't seen it is bewildering. It's obvious that Joe Biden is a racist, right? That's why Obama put him as vice president. You keep your your friends close and your enemies closer. He knew that white supremacist was out to get him. So, anyway, let's touch on that story I'm talking about right now. Tensions flare over Pelosi's comments about full House Democratic woman and the border bill. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi faced sharp criticism Sunday from some liberal lawmakers and activists over her latest comments about a group of Democratic women who opposed last month's House emergency bill, border aid bill, that was supported by the leadership and most Democrats. See, that's just wrong. That is just wrong. Why would Nancy Pelosi criticize Ilhan Omar, Ocasio-Cortez for not voting for a bill to help the Border Patrol? The Border Patrol take care of all these needy people. Why would they vote against giving them beds? Why wouldn't they vote for that? Why would Ocasio-Cortez want to give these migrants sleeping on the floor? Why would they want to give them a bed? Of course Ocasio-Cortez isn't going to vote for that. You think she's for beds? You think she's for getting rid of the lice in their heads? You think she's for drinking water out of a water fountain? Are you kidding me? That's racist of Nancy Pelosi to think that Ocasio-Cortez would vote to help people that she says she cares about. Nancy Pelosi is clearly taking Ocasio-Cortez inaction on the border out of context. Didn't she see Ocasio-Cortez? She went to one of those border houses where they're keeping migrants. She saw them on the floor with their coat wrapped around them because they didn't have sheets or anything. Ocasio-Cortez even hugged one of them. Why would Nancy Pelosi expect her to vote to actually give her a bed? It has to be the reason she thought that Ocasio-Cortez would do the right thing is because Nancy Pelosi's racist, obviously. Come on. You actually expect Ilhan Omar, Ocasio-Cortez, and Tlaib to do the right thing and help those people on the border? Nancy obviously has something against them. It may be their darkest shade of skin color. All right, people. So I was having that conversation with my friend, and obviously what I did there, I played on words if you guys didn't figure it out. And I called Nancy a racist, which that person wasn't happy when I called Nancy a racist. Because why would you disagree with a person of color if you weren't racist? At least, I'm just going by the rules set by the Democrats. Obviously, right? So anyway, so they stormed off. That was my conversation actually earlier this morning. All right, that was fun. You're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave. MAGA country, baby. Harry, a.k.a. The Brave on WNHH-LP 103.5 FM. Your home for community radio. I'm going to kick some music and then I'll be right back.
rush, no, no. You ain't gotta say it, I know. You ain't been I know. If you need a vibe, let's go. Just love me, love me, love me. You could be the one, just come and trust me. I don't want no one but you to want me. So baby, can you love me, love me, love me?
Trust me, trust me, trust me. Then decide to love me, love me, love me. To get paid the levels, make it with me. We be in a Cooper, file a Navy. Then decide to love me, love me, love me. Say you want me, you want my baby. Be the same, say you know me. Can't follow us, don't got the Navy. The seeing is believing, come and show me how to know. Don't cheat and play games, don't you mind you on the road. None them lips, so that tongue is on the road. Play no games, come and love me.
I ain't in a rush, no, no. You ain't gotta say it, I know. You ain't been I know. If you need a vibe, let's go. Just love me, love me, love me. You could be the one, just come and trust me. I don't want no one but you to want me. So baby, can you love me, love me, love me? I ain't in a rush, no, no. Never met a that's your type, I know. You look like you should be on my flight, I know. I be wrong even when I know I'm right, I know. Trying to tell you nothing that you do is overrated. I'ma roll it up for every time I hate it. I know I understand why you expect it to make. Anyone who fronted on me got eliminated. I said, baby, come and let me be your provider. I'm just trying to loosen you up without no plier. You can get whatever you want and desire. After I can give you this work, you never fire. I ain't in a rush, no, no. You ain't gotta say it, I know. You ain't been I know. If you need a vibe, let's go. Just love me, love me, love me. You could be the one, just come and trust me. I don't want no one but you to want me. So baby, can you love me, love me, love me?
All right, you're listening now. Breaking news, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, aka The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio. All right, let's jump into the headlines. Let's see what we got here for you. You know, this is part of the conversation I had this afternoon with people, but here we go. You know, I've been, having interesting conversations as Trump's job approval goes up. The economy outperforms even Trump's expectations. Of course, the Democrats' expectations, you have Paul Krugman, the Nobel Prize winning economist, who predicted early on that the economy would tank, and it would tank quickly, right? So it wasn't hard to outperform that, right? He expected that Trump to be inaugurated and the market would drop like a rock, right? Because nobody could do better than what Obama had done, right? And Obama left the economy on the tail end of a recession. It was, at the beginning point of a recession, actually, right? They expected that the economy would actually roll into a recession, right? And that's why actually Obama's people were predicting no more than 1.75%, GDP growth and everything. So, the Obama administration themselves were saying we can't do any better than what we've done. So Trump has smashed all expectation, right? Let's read this story. Jobs report smashes expectations. The U.S. economy added 224,000 non-farm payrolls during June, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Consensus estimates were for 160,000 positions added during the month. According to economists surveyed by Bloomberg, May's figures were revised 72,000 jobs down from previously 75,000. Employment growth now averages at 172,000 jobs per month this year. Right? The unemployment rate ticked up at 3.7%. Economists were anticipating that the unemployment rate would hold steady at 3.6, near 5 decade low. Meanwhile, average hourly earnings rose 0.2 from May and 3.1 year over year. The labor force participation rose 62.9%. Now you have to understand that the labor force, and this is why actually the unemployment rate, even though we outperformed the expectations and they expected the unemployment rate to stay steady at 3.6%, but it's that the labor force participation rate rose 62.9. Well, it's risen throughout the year, but actually I think it added close to 500,000 people, actually new people, into the marketplace, right? So that means almost 500,000 people who were sitting on their butts, sitting on their asses at home and not looking for work and not interested in work actually said, it's time for me to get back into the workforce. It's time for me to actually go get a job. So it added those people, which is why the tick to 3.7%. So that means another 500,000 people are looking for jobs, but that's okay because we still are outpacing jobs to people looking for jobs. So there's more jobs than people looking. So that's good. People should get into the workforce right now, because there's competition for employees right now. Jobs are going above and beyond to keep you. Jobs are going above and beyond to get you. So this is incredible, right? This is incredible. Sectors with the most notable job gains in June included the professional and business services, healthcare, and transportation and warehousing sectors. Manufacturing employment surged in June with 17,000 positions created. Economists were predicting 3,000 jobs added in the sector. Manufacturing is coming. I mean, it's been back with Trump. Obama actually had a net loss in manufacturing. Trump keeps adding manufacturing jobs. Those jobs that they told you would never come back. Those jobs that somebody said, well, how is he going to do it? Does he got a magic wand? No, not magic wand. Not a magic wand, Barack. Just hard work and actual knowledge of the economy, which Barack had zero knowledge when it came to that. Right? He knew how to, be a community organizer. He knew that. Okay, sectors. Read that already. Let's see if there's anything else. The unemployment rate rose. Wage growth is flattening out. There is still residual slack in the jobs market. We tend to think July cuts are still more likely than not. So they're making predictions for the next month. All right, so let's move on. Record. Okay, here goes. Record 157 million 5,000 jobs of people employed. That's a record, 19th record set in the Trump era. So that's how many people we have working right now in America. Right around 157 million people. Right? A new record. Thank you, Trump. Thank you, Trump. After the 4th of July fireworks, the 5th This is in cnsnews.com. After the 4th of July fireworks, the 5th of July brings another reason for Americans to celebrate. Celebrate. Not walk with your head down because there's nobody working for you, or you think, man, the guy in the White House really doesn't like me. No, the guy in the White House really likes you. And he's trying to bring more jobs, give you more opportunities. So you should walk with your head up, chin up. Chin up, young chap. Right? Another reason for Americans to celebrate, a record 157,005,000 jobs. People were employed in June, the most since February, and the 19th record of Trump's presidency. Yay! I guess, people should celebrate good news. And one of my comrades, communist friend, one of my comrades, was upset when he came in. And I mentioned this to him. I'm like, aren't you happy with, the direction of the country and how good the job market is and how good the economy is, and that Trump is really working hard to get a deal with China, and he already made a deal with Mexico and Canada that Nancy Pelosi won't put up to a vote that would actually bring jobs and help farmers, but Nancy Pelosi won't bring it to a vote. It's sad. The Democrats are not just obstructionists, they really are a waste of air. They really are. They're not showing their worth. Right? So anyway, let's move on. Okay, poll. Trump's approval rating hits highest point of presidency. At least on that poll. Right? And that's the poll I was telling you. That's that's not the Harris poll, right? President Trump's approval rating has surged to the highest level of his presidency, according to a new Washington Post ABC poll. That's actually big, because that poll he really usually sucks at. But like I said, when the Democrat polls, when the obvious left-leaning media has him close to 50%, you know his true number is way greater than that. All right, let me take a music break and I'll be right back. You're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, aka The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
You got the thing that I want. It's the way that you move it, and don't you stop what you're doing, 'cause I love watching how you move to the beat, the beat, the beat. I can't help it but to stare. Got the temperature rising up in here, and this beautiful woman everywhere. But you're the only one that sees. I gotta get you alone. Just find a place we can go. And I don't care how long. 'Cause I gotta get you close to me. I gotta get you alone. Just find a place we can go. And I don't care how long.
is a bunch of poor refugees 1,000 miles away. They're even taking our brave troops away from their families for a political stunt.
President Obama is sending 1,200 National Guard troops to boost security along the U.S.-Mexican border.
In addition to the troops, the president is also requesting $500 million for border security.
We simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, unchecked, and circumventing the line of people who are waiting patiently, diligently, and lawfully to become immigrants in this country.
Our message absolutely is don't send your children unaccompanied on trains or through a bunch of smugglers. We don't even know how many of these kids don't make it and may have been waylaid into sex trafficking or killed because they fell off a train. We have no way of tracking that.
Our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before.
We need to try to incentivize Mexico to do more.
We are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years.
If they've committed transgressions of whatever kind, they should be obviously deported.
We will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes.
Illegal immigration is wrong, plain and simple. Until the American people are convinced that we will stop future flows of illegal immigration, we will make no progress on dealing with the millions of illegal immigrants who are here now and on rationalizing our system of legal immigration. When we use phrases like undocumented workers, we convey a message to the American people that their government is not serious about combating illegal immigration. When we use phrases like undocumented workers,
all right, you listen to Breaking News with Harry, aka The Brave. So that was a little video on YouTube, right? And it shows how hypocritical and misleading the Democrats are. That video starts with Obama saying that it was a stunt, political stunt, about, you know, Trump wanting to send more or the National Guard to the border and asking for more money on the border. Those were Obama's words, that it was a political stunt. And then the words that followed was the news reporting when Obama sent the National Guard to the border. When Obama asked for $500 million from Congress to help with the border. That's the thing. That I shouldn't have to explain this, because you should actually do your own homework here. But after that followed Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton talking about how we must protect our borders. And then Chuck E. Schumer, Senator of New York, Chuck Schumer, saying that when you call them anything other than illegal aliens, it shows that you are not serious. These are all words said from the Democrat Party. That video was all Democrats talking. And it shows with the ending, with Chuck Schumer telling you that the Democrats are not serious about the issue of the border. They could care less because he told you. And it shows. When you call it something else, it shows you're not serious. All right, so there you go. The Democrats always reveal themselves. And the thing is, with all of that video evidence, you never see the media doing this. You never see MSNBC or NBC or ABC or CBS or CNN turning their words on those Democrats who are hypocritical today. Barack saying, don't send your kids because I'm going to turn them right back. And understand this. He's telling them don't send their kids because the majority of kids that come are unaccompanied. So when you talk about family separation, imagine the family that decides to send their child alone to be molested, raped, trafficked, and they send their child on that trek with condoms in their pocket, knowing that the worst will happen to them. All right. That was a little video for you guys who forget. All the liberals, all the Democrats who forget. Because right now, you're against Trump only because you hate Trump. He stands for a lot of the policies that the Democrats stood for. All right, that's fine. Now my time is almost up. You know what? I'm going to get a couple of Connecticut stories in. You know, I'll end with a couple of Connecticut stories. Let's see. Here goes one. Right? This is... here we go. Shared from Greenwich, Connecticut. Where, I don't know where the story is written. Let's see. This is on Patch.com. Right? This is a real estate website. Low-wage workers can forget renting in Connecticut. Here's why. The National Low Income Housing Coalition published its annual Out of Reach report, finding that rental housing needs are worsening, and in some states worse than ever, worse than others. There is no state in which the typical minimum wage worker charting a 40-hour week can afford to rent a modest 2-bedroom apartment. Furthermore, that same worker couldn't afford a 1-bedroom rental in 99% of counties in the United States. That's according to an annual report published recently by researchers at the National Low Income Housing Coalition, which looked at rental costs in counties and metro areas nationwide. In Connecticut, the fair market rent for a 2-bedroom apartment is $1,321 a month. In order to afford this level of rent and utilities without paying more than 30% of income on housing, a household must earn $4,403 monthly, or $52,837 annually. Assuming a 40-hour work week, 52 weeks per year, this level of income translates into an hourly housing wage of $25.40 an hour. The authors note in their report, in Connecticut, the fair market rent for a 1-bedroom apartment is $1,064. The minimum wage in Connecticut is $10.10 an hour, and the average rental wage needed is $17.53 an hour, and it would cost you $25.40 to rent a 2-bedroom apartment. There are 454,957 renters in Connecticut. To pull all of this in perspective, a Connecticut resident earning a minimum wage would need to work 101 hours in order to afford a 2-bedroom rental. And the Connecticut resident earning minimum wage would need to work 81 hours in order to afford a 1-bedroom rental. Most expensive housing in Connecticut, hourly wage necessary to afford 2-bedroom apartment. All right, so there you go. So it gives you a list of the most expensive, right? Stanford, obviously. In order to live in Stanford, you have to earn $36.25 an hour. Danbury, $30.44 an hour. Southern Middlesex County, $27.44 an hour. New Haven, Meriden, Connecticut metro area, $26.98 an hour. So yeah, so Connecticut is quickly becoming unaffordable to those of lower middle class and below. So, you know, Connecticut is going to be a little San Francisco. Only the rich should apply. So anyway, so yeah, that's some tough numbers. That's some tough numbers. We're really outpricing people in the lower wage area, right? So let's get to the other story I wanted to read. Here it goes on newsbreakapp.com. 41 UFO sightings reported in Connecticut in 2019 so far. 41. It's a lot of UFO sightings, right? After, here we go. Sorry about that. You're listening to Breaking News. After reports that Navy pilots were encountering UFOs at hypersonic speeds, Patch took a peek at the most recent sightings in Connecticut. UFO sightings never really left the news, but they've arguably never been more prevalent. Navy pilots recently spoke to seeing mysterious objects with no discernible engine or exhaust fumes flying at hypersonic speeds. President Donald Trump recently said he was briefed on UFOs. A group of Senate lawmakers received a classified briefing recently about such objects. And let's not get started on that strange Facebook video that seems to show a creepy looking alien doing some sort of jig down someone's driveway. Democratic U.S. Senator Mark Warner wants answers on UFOs, whether it's weather balloons, little green men, or something else entirely. Rachel Cohen, his spokeswoman, told CNN, and the Navy has drafted guidelines to allow pilots to report UFOs, and so that the military can track them, though the military branches prefers not to use the term UFOs. So we don't actually use that term, Joseph Radisha, a spokesman for the Deputy Chief of Naval Operations for Information Warfare, told Patch this week. We use unmanned aerial system. So there you go. Just want to get that story in. I'm almost out of here. You're listening to Breaking News with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
So you're a philosopher?
See
Yes.
ya.
Yes. 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 Yes.
I think very deeply. I think very deeply. I think very deeply. I think very deeply.
In about 4 seconds, a teacher will begin to speak.
I think very deeply.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
This is Harry Droz, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, New Haven.